Hey everybody and welcome back. I am Titan9, and if you've been playing in locals, I'm sure you have been seeing Aggro everywhere. I know I have, but also I'm sort of one of the players of it too. Aggro is what won me the US Southwestern Beta Regional Championship back in the day. And the philosophy behind that, if you're an OG fan, you've probably seen those videos. Those were the first couple I uploaded on the channel. It's why I started the channel, because I just kept being asked a lot of questions about that deck. There was another event happening in Vegas the week after. People wanted to know my secret sauce, and I was tired of answering the same thing again and again. A video was the easiest solution to do that. Well, the philosophy behind that was I needed to be faster than blue-white, and I needed blue-green to not feel like a toss-up. And the way to do that at the time, they were playing Shenlong and Wing Gundam. There was a smaller card pool then, remember that. And I went even lower than that. So I got rid of the Shenlong package, did an Amuro G-Fighter thing to give me some extra oomph through the blockers, and that allowed me to just be faster than everybody else. Well, now the card pool is a lot more efficient, and so all the aggro decks are doing that, and thus I think it's time to actually go back and do the Shenlong plan to swing the mirror matches in our favor. And so I bring you Shenlong Slam. I had been tinkering with a version of this deck for a bit, and then a few days ago I saw somebody do well at the Eggman tournament with Shenlong as well. So I thought, okay, time to like really go for it now. They didn't win that event, but they did very well. So I want to kind of highlight where I've ended up with the list now that I'm fully in. I've played with it a lot during the week and have done very well with it. So we have a lot of the standard blue-green aggro stuff you've been seeing. Obviously Amuro, Corsica's been picking up a lot of play, thank goodness. I really enjoy this base quite a bit. We got the 2/2s. We have more of the GMs over the Zakus for our Jigans. We want to make this cost 1 as much as possible. A really good mirror breaker just by virtue of being a 2/3. It's great at trading with these guys, particularly this one here. Of course, Aggro All-Star Zaku 2. Great first turn, or, first turn with an EX resource. First play of the game, this is where you want to be. Gun Tank also format All-Star. That one ping means a lot. We have a lot less white-based things, so we only need the 2 G-Fighters. Gun Cannons are good aggro breakers. Just aside from being a 2/3, sometimes linking it to an Amuro and smashing some of the little guys and then repairing one is good enough. But, obviously, good old Grandpa here as well. Razel, God Uncommon, almost unfair how good this card is. But now let's look at our Wufei package. Aside from the 2 Zakus that are just sort of standard in aggro decks, instead of Char and all of his Zaku 2s and Gelgus and things that he links to, we have 5 links for our Wufei. And what makes Wufei so great is that when he's attacking units with 3 or less AP, he takes no damage. The unit that he's piloting takes no damage. So that's just about anything in their decks. You just get to kill for free, and you get to attack their bases at the exact same time. And I know it doesn't look consistent with only 5 units. I think the list from that Eggman tournament had a second one of these, but didn't have any DOMs. And I know it's not linkable with Wufei, but that's okay. Just having a 5/4 that can kill anything and take no damage on turn 4 can often be good enough. If they want to trade a linked Amuro with the Grandpa into that, that's perfectly fine too, because this guy's a big pain in the butt if it sticks, especially in a deck where a lot of our dudes are pretty small. Even our tall geese can't get him. So if that's what they want to trade their resources on, that's fine. These are pretty good on their own as well. So that is what we are going for here. It's our good way to break the mirror. This is a mirror breaker choice. This is a mirror breaker choice. That is what we want to do. It's still good against other units. I wanted less of this because I want it to be bigger. I think people are also playing more of the gun cannons, which I get, but Amuro has a few other things he can already link to, and I want to give more power to our Wufei and our Breach package. So I went up a lot of DOMs to make that happen. I did try 4 of this for a bit. I wanted the DOMs. It's just helpful. You get this down so early. The double tap with Amuro and this aren't as powerful on turn 4 because they've usually attacked with a good chunk of their units already. So I think Wufei Dom is a nice turn 4 play. Plus you get to probably play one of these other 1-cost things at that point as well. But you don't want the curve. I know looks high. That's why I'm low on this. I might consider going 3 here and 2 here to speed up that process a little bit. But I wanted to try the full 4 now to see it as much as possible to know how much I wish this were a lower costing thing. And it might be reasonable to switch these two. But for the purposes of today's video, we will leave the count as it is, as this is what I've been running recently. Now, for this incarnation of meta meditation, since this is the aggro mirror breaker, I thought we would play against the 1-year war deck you've probably been seeing the most, the one with the char package. So when I've been brewing with it, this is sort of where I've ended up for the time being. I will not go too big into depth because if you're a long time, we're all pretty new players, but if you're an enfranchised player, you've probably seen a version of this and you're familiar enough with it. But also, we're going to do a meta meditation on this deck later on. I'll save the deck tech for then. But basically, a lot of low-level units. 10 units that link with our char. This one gets it back after it dies earlier in here. When you draw these 1/2s or 1/1s later in the game, you can just pitch them to get your instant cost rush 4 guy. The Corsica base here as well. I've seen the Xeon base where you get to put in a 4 guy for free. I think that would be fine too. It costs less, and it lets you get a dude into play. You just don't always have one in your hand to put down. So I'm starting with Corsica now. I just like Talgis, and the 2 1/1s I think are come in handy too, but I wouldn't fault anyone if they were trying out that other Xeon base. I think that's better in a Xeon mid-range kind of build, but I won't fault you for playing it here. Dop, people are hot and cold on. I'm leaving it in here for now. I like having the card selection where aggro decks do not see a lot of cards. So any type of card selection we get is nice. Plus, you can actually get a couple hits off with this. And if you don't find your God Zaku, you can play it with one of these and usually get through that way. We got the full 4G fighter to get through some blockers. We have a tapper here. I'm trying this out. I've seen enough aggro decks with this in their lists, and I've seen enough aggro players swear by it. I'm not fully sold on this yet. I'm not entirely sure what I'd rather have it be, but for the time being, we'll leave this as it is to give you a little more late game action. I don't think you need 4 Galgoots. I'm not sure you want 3. 2 might be perfectly fine, but for the time being, I've got the 3. I'm trying to try it out. But that's the quick overlook here. It just goes super fast. I call it 1-year war sneak because it's about just Char has high maneuver, Amuro taps things down, G-Fighter gives things high maneuver. So it really just gets past a lot of blockers. The Siege Boy does that too. Taps down all your opponent's stuff. So there you are. We're going to jump now into some games. All right, so meta meditation, we're going to do best of 3 when we examine a particular matchup. We set them on random every time. We will be going second in the game. I have lost a lot of the die rolls when playing in paper this week, and I haven't minded it too much. I still think you take second if you have the option, but it's not a big deal if you lose, so it's sort of win-win there. This hand, we got this right here on turn 1. We could theoretically think about burning that resource on turn 2, but we have these 2 3-level units, so it's probably best to wait, and this is good enough on its own. And we have a Wufei should we find any of the 9 cards that go well with it. So we have some good odds there too. We will not mulligan. All right, they play their dot. We're not scared of that. Even on the crackback, they won't be able to kill it by itself. So no big deal here. Let us simply play Zaku 2 and move on. They probably will have 2 units to play for us this turn. We'll kind of begin the race. But that's not the end of the world because we're going to have this gun cannon. If we draw an Amuro, we won't be able to link it next turn because Amuro is a level 4 pilot. So just have that in mind when you do your math. Probably we'll play this and this because then we can kill this Dop, play a big chunky unit, and then next turn we can play this Jigen and this Razel again. That since they only have 2 2/2s, that looks good to me. We could theoretically play this, but I'm gonna keep this now. That is actually like I want the ability. I might want the ability to rush, though. With these 2 2s, it's a pretty juicy target because we're gonna get to repair the one, and they have gun tanks too. Well, first let's just get rid of their base. Base goes... There's a consideration to be made because they're going to attack one of these into that and have one left over to deal with. So we could actually just leave this Dop alone. That's just... They could also just sort of come right at us and not care about trading because they're going to have probably 2 more units to play next turn anyway. So let's just go aggro with it and limit what we can. We don't yet know who is the beatdown in this matchup. It will depend on turns 3 and 4. Who's getting more units down, who's getting the bigger units down. So for now, I will play... What could they play next turn? Is there anything with a tougher defense in there? I guess a Char-linked Zaku we might want to get rid of. So alright, we will play it safe. We'll do Razel. Worst case scenario, we could rush. We don't have an advantage to tapping anything down. Yeah, we can hope to try to tap something down. We'll end the turn. Drawing a second Razel. I think were the 2 Razels what we drew back to back. They're just good cards. Just good cards. Won't complain. All right, so they want to trade here. We are on wingtable.net. Some people don't like the AI. I am a patron of Wingtable, so we get a better AI, but still it makes some form of mistake. All right, we fortunately didn't have anything for this gun tank to hit. That's a slight win for us. We could trade our gun tank into this. I guess that's pretty good. All right, we have this. We can still play one of these, and then next turn Wufei gets piloted on, and we just, like, go to town. I like that. They have more units, so let's go. We're only going to get to play 1 unit. Oh, we are going to play 2 units this turn. Well, we're still going to take this defensive role here because virtue of, like, this is why it can be nice to go first, especially in the mirror, because if you're both playing 2 units per turn, you would technically win the race. You just kind of, like, go down and then just hope there are no bases in there. We are... Yeah, they can just take their gun cannon and go to our Razel. So probably this will attack face. Oh no! I was meant to play the Jigen first. Oh, that was so dumb. Oh, that is so unfortunate. You come here to see some good play, and then I go and do something silly like that. I was just so eager to do this. Don't do that in paper. We will... Oh, that hurts so bad. All right. Not great for our game 1. Not great. All right, they've got an Amuro. That isn't good for us either. Because they could just swing in here. And then play Grandpa. These trade. And then like 3 units attack my bases. And I don't have a good back follow-up unit. Because I don't have this anymore. Rough. I'm sorry you had to see that, everybody. I've discredited myself here. I get too distracted by the talking. Wouldn't happen in paper. Yep, there's the Gundam. Pairs well with our Amuro. They want to do the trade first. Oh, they're going to tap my Dom. Ooh. Bad. Well, that's why you don't pair Wufei first. I didn't bother doing that. Just in case something... I guess if that had happened and they attacked, we trade. Maybe it would have been right to do that there. Now I got another Wufei. Alright, it's looking bad. That... This will cost us some amount. Hey, there we go. Now we can kind of rush in here. Probably kill this one. We have to keep in mind they're going to have an extra AP every turn over there, so we have to keep that in mind. We can't... we really threw off everything. They're gonna get... We have to Amuro this turn. They're gonna get something and kill me. Well, at least we can play this GM. Yeah, we don't get to do either of those. Okay, I'm going to kill this gentleman here. If they rush with something else, we're in trouble anyway. And this way I can take out... If they want to trade, like, whatever. Yeah, I don't like our position here. Oh, that misplay. It hurts. It hurts so bad. All right, we got our repair though. He's not going to be able to. Gun tank's not going to be able to kill our gun cannon, our Amuro'd gun cannon. Amuro's good in the mirror match because it lets you tap down a unit they've just played. We have put ourselves in a position where we can't take full advantage of that though. At least the other weird thing about the mirror match. Oh no. Bad. I'm gonna have to... Even if I Wufei this, I don't kill it. Oh, jeez. Oh, no! Yeah, and the hand's coming down. We don't seem to have a good way to kill this Gundam, so maybe it was greedy to not do that. Yeah, and nothing can rush now. So if there's a base in here, we're okay, but it is not looking great. Even if we survive, like, they're hellbent now, but we're just so far behind. Like that, if we had this Jigen out earlier, we can kill something else. Our gun cannon might have survived. I think it definitely would have survived because wouldn't have another attacker with it. Yeah, that play cost you big. It cost me big. No base. We only run 3 bases, so it's not aggressively likely. We could trade favorably with anything, though, but if this is a unit, we're kind of screwed anyway. Yeah, we're just dead. They didn't have a unit, though, but they could have tapped down one of our attackers, so it would have been moot. That's another good reason for Siege Ploy. It does work in the mirror. All right. It's best 2 out of 3, though, so we have a chance to show off the excellence of our deck. So this hand's interesting. In the mirror, having a definite base to start off with can be good. That being said, I don't love our other cards. This is where maybe if this were one of a second baby Shenlong, it would be a lot nicer of a hand because you go 1, 2, 3. It's obviously not vomiting units down. I think we're going to mulligan. It just is a little in the blind. I might keep it. This is better. This is what we want to be doing. Like, we're sort of trying to race or trade them. That one, and we got a base anyway, so it sort of worked out well. We won't get to crush their base in turn 1, but we are going first, so theoretically, we're not in trading duty. Because we play this turn 1, we play these turn 2, we should be able to rush, although he's going to get to break our base before we break his. But let's go here. And next turn, we will definitely make sure to play these 2 first. As an old school Magic player, I'm used to doing my attacks and then playing my cards. I think that was part of why I forgot to do that in the proper order for the Gundam TCG. Playing that Jigen. Okay, our plan has not changed. We are still going to play these. We are going to trade with their units. I know trading doesn't feel good in a mirror. If we were able to break the shield, I might consider breaking that and then killing this while we have a good opportunity to do so. They could rush one of the Char Zaku 2s at us next turn, but then I just get to come at it with this. So I don't care too much about it, but look, we're in a good position now. We have 4 of our units here, and they have nothing there. Oh, are we getting charred? Yes, we are. Okay, they could have killed one of our GMs and put us in an awkward trading position. I guess now then we just trade the damage GM. Yeah, that wouldn't have been all that great. If we had a Gundam here, a Grandpa, that would have been nice to put with our Amuro, because then our GMs could finish this gentleman off. But also, we might not care about this unit. If it wants to trade with ours, that puts us in a pretty good position. So yeah, I actually think I will attack the shields first. Might as well. We are winning the race. If they rush with something, that's going to be their whole turn. They might get to... If it's a char thing, they might get another 1-cost thing on the board. That's still only 3, and we got 4. And if we kill this, we just let them find another card they can play on their turn. Yeah, let's just go beat down. Let's do it. We don't have any bursts we have to worry about in there. And if it's a base, then we don't have to worry about the token. And we're going to probably play our own base, so we'll have a 4-2 to deal with that, and we could suit it up if necessary. See what happens when you play your units in the right order? Everything comes out great. So I'm going to play Corsica first to see what card I draw. I am still likely to play this, but if they hadn't attacked my bases, I probably still would have played this now. To get a creature, get a card, put some pressure down. We can rush with our Amuro next turn. Sweet deal. And look at us. Turn 4, we got a full grip of units. Things are looking very dire for our opponent indeed. Our Charazaku can't... Oh, they want to trade with something. Oh no, that feels somewhat meaningless. But they could have killed our base, but even then, they have 4 more damage they need to do to us that they cannot do this turn. They don't look like they're going to be able to rush us either, so we should be able to just hit them where it hurts. All right, let's first just clear out shield with our Let's clear out shields with our low AP units in case a base is afoot. Sorry about the tongue-tiedness there. Why, indeed, there is a base. So we technically don't need to play anything else, but in case they have... I believe the list only has 1 Siege Ploy. I think that's where I've ended up on the deck, but let's assume we don't know. We've seen our opponent play 1. They could play another, so let's just play smartly. We have 2 Amuros. Oh, I guess we could just rush anyway. So I am sort of making this a little moot for myself. Yeah, okay. So if they have the Siege Ploy, it won't matter, because we have this rushed Amuro anyway, and we're planning on playing this anyway. So it is a moot. We don't have to worry about anything killing this. There won't be a Siege Ploy, but if there were, we have a backup plan. If we didn't have the ability to rush then, I would put the Amuro on one of my 4 power guys. They cannot play it in response to that. They have to wait until after we attack. That's when that action step comes up during the combat phase, so it's already too late for them to stop us popping their base. Attack our opponents. And we came back quite nicely, 1 on turn 5. Yeah, see, these got stuck in their hand. These could have been units that they were playing. This is why I don't like having them in the deck. Just saying, for you aggro players that do run 1 or 2 of these that give me a hard time. 2, it seems to definitely be too much. If this were 1, maybe, but look, they didn't even get to their turn 5. Why are you running this card? Okay, let's go back for our rubber match. Okay, not a great hand. All right, the Foul Mal cost 1, which was one of the nice things about that. That base was a green 1, and it gave you a 3-1, but that token comes in rested. Both the 4-2 and the 2-1-1s do not. Huge, especially with red-blue pingers hanging out everywhere, but also your aggro mirror. They play gun tanks too. A perfect trade for them. So, but this is a higher cost thing. We can't, do both of those on the same turn, where we could if that were a Foul Mal. Nothing can happen. We're going second, so we could play one of these on turn 2. But as we saw last game, we want to be putting down multiple units. And this is forever. Again, if this were a baby Shenlong, it looks a little better, but probably still wouldn't keep this hand. Let us take that mulligan. There's a lot of more... It's not like the sealed format or the Star Deck formats. There's a lot more redundancy here, so mulliganing's okay. Wish this were a GM, but otherwise, a reasonable hand. This Amuro could help us have a lot of favorable trades. We don't have to save it for a linked unit, though we have plenty of options should we draw one. We're just going to play this for now. Rickdom is a consideration for next turn. Just because we'll get a little breach on their base. We're going to attack into this. Yeah, Rickdom would look good into that. But so would Razel, and that gets us closer to playing the Jigen for cheap. Oh, but now we have the Wufei. I think that might slide things into Rickdom's favor. So let's come here. They probably won't trade here because there's no benefit to that for them. They can just hit our shield, Zaku us, play 2 more units. It's not super exciting. So no, burning the resource doesn't help because I would still only have 3 for this. So let's just hang tight. There is a chance we don't play the Wufei. If we draw another Shenlong, that would change some of the math. If we draw another Federation unit, we could then play 3 units next turn. I guess it would have to be a GM. But even maybe 2 Razels is pretty good. Where were you for my Amuro? Am I getting charred? Okay, well, that's not so bad. But it is 4 units. That's not great for us. Ooh, see? Here we go. Like, next turn... Alright, this is going to kill that. Oh, no, I actually want this. I want my Zaku 2 into this 2-2 Zaku 2. And then this would kill that. And they could still just do 2 to me. The Amuro doesn't help me too much. I guess I could kill this, but I'm not excited to kill this and help them find another card. Grrr. Why did we have to draw this? Again, if this were the baby Shenlong, we're playing it right now and just like jamming in on a 6... The 4-3 stats, which becomes a 6-4, isn't ideal. This has an extra HP, which sometimes matters, but 5 really is the magic number. I think, let that 4-3 body scare me too much. How many times in this video have I said, boy, this would be a little better if this were the 4-3? But maybe that's just because we're playing this aggro mirror, and maybe I'm much happier to see these in a matchup that has blockers. But let's think about that, right? In blue-white, that's probably giving them a little bit of extra time, and this is just fine on its own. But then it's only attacking on turn 6. Yeah, I think I will look at those Shenlong ratios a bit. I'll take a long, hard look. But also in further meditation videos, we can kind of examine how this Shenlong is performing in other matchups compared to the baby one. Okay. Yeah, I guess the advantage is, unless they char this one up, putting the Wufei on this means they're not even going to kill us on the crackback unless they have an Amuro into one of his link units. That gets 2 cards out of his hand, though, and they trade. And we're playing a few... Well, if we draw another expensive one... Yeah, well, we can play this next turn, though. Okay, and if they burst us into a Wufei, all the better. I think I got interrupted earlier, but one of the weird things about the mirror is the aggressor gives their opponent more cards. That's like a weird push and pull there. Sometimes it might be better to wait until you kind of have a wider board, because they're not going to be able to block you anyway. It might be better to wait till you have a wider board and try to kill them all in one fell swoop. Or I get them so low enough it doesn't really matter what you've burst into their hands. But sometimes then it's a base that you burst, and that throws off your math. It's a very interesting dance, the aggro mirror. All right, I think after all my hemming and hawing, I will definitely trade here. I will play this Wufei right here. We will get this attack for free. We will breach to this, not that that matters super much yet. We are going to play this Razel in the hopes that we can play this for 1 next turn. But if we don't, we have a good backup plan, and we won't have to use our resource. But we might want to use it anyway and put Amuro on this guy, on our big Shenlong, just so we can rest a critical unit if they play it next turn, because they're attacking with both of these. Hey, look at that. They're attacking with both of these, so we could... Oh, yeah! So we could trade here anyway. Are they gonna... Oh, no, they just want to get rid of that base. That is pretty aggressive. Theoretically, they attack with both these units. They play another unit here. By playing the Amuro on... No, because it doesn't rush, so that's sort of moot anyway. Huh. Alright, I don't know where my train of logic was going there. And we do have this gun cannon to deal with next turn. So, playing... I think I'm going to save this. Am I getting too cute? I think so. Okay. My thought was I play gun tank with the Amuro, attack the dot, repair one, this just goes into here. But I'm limiting my attacking potential by doing that. He's not taking damage anyway. Rickdom's not taking damage because it's got Wufei to hang out with. So we can kill that, finish off the base, and then Amuro's attacking right into shields there anyway. And then we can surprise them with this on another turn. Oh, and we'll have the... I'm going to trade this into there. I am going to give him a card. I don't love that. But that way I'm making sure my Wufeis can attack into here and live. I want to make sure my Wufeis live. They're the mirror breaker. I'm glad in this matchup we're going to get to see them do their thing. But I can play Gun Cannon, Amuro, and Jigen in the same turn, even without using the EX resource. But I can't have this die first, because then I would have to use the EX resource. Okay. Because then, next turn, I can play this and maybe a one-cost unit if I happen to draw that. That would be sweet. Or if I find... No, because I wouldn't have anything to put a Amuro on anyway. If I can play a one-cost thing. Here we go. They have nothing up anyway. We're not surprising anybody. Amuro here. No one to tap, so it doesn't matter what order those are in. Play our Jigen. Okay, now we do the real attack. Sorry that I'm over-talking. I just want to make sure everybody is following along. Some people do not watch directly. They listen while doing other activities. Maybe they're driving, though I don't advise that. Maybe they're cleaning up around the house. Maybe they're just putting a deck together. So I'm trying to be descriptive as possible. All right, now our Rickdom with the Wufei attacks the Dop, takes no damage. You see our Rickdom has killed 2 units, taken no damage, and has gotten rid of this base we haven't been able to do anything about because we've been on the back foot. Okay, and then they siege ploy uselessly here. All right, now look at our board, look at their board. I know we have less shields and less cards in hand, but these cards are just so impactful. Okay, that's an odd play. I don't know why they wanted to put the Char on the gun tank. They just might not have no linkable units, and they don't want me to be able to... Now... Ah! Okay, they are going to be able to finish off my... Unless I... Look at that, one-cost unit. Boom, we're going in, people. So Amuro could be good here to tap something down. Like, I don't have anything to breach here. Yeah, them getting to play all these one-cost units has caused us some issues. They can actually kill us next turn if we don't have a base. That is not good. I don't know, have we lost the race? Tapping just feels so greedy, though. But we just die if we don't. And their trades are so unfavorable. And then I can still rush with this next turn and play another unit. Well, it doesn't feel good, but here we go. We're attacking the Dom here, because then we get to do damage to their shields too. Yep, and we really just have to hope they don't have a base. Then we could survive. Duh! That one hurts. So the good news is our Dom can kill that, our Rushy Shenlong can kill it, and they might make choices based on the fact that they don't think we can do that. So here's the thought. Are there any other bases in here? No. So theoretically, there are more bases. So here's what you have to consider. If one of these two bases is a shield... I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. If one of these two shields are a base, it would be advantageous to attack this Jigen into this base. No, actually, maybe that doesn't change the math at all. Shenlong goes in, kills this base. Something else attacks. This is another base. That card's gone. Dom goes in, kills it. What did they get to their hand? Oh no, the Corsica gave them another card. Also bad for us. Alright, the thought now might be Shenlong, get rid of base. Jigen, kill shield. I know this guy then becomes useless, but we could just die. Like, we might not have that luxury. The base has to go. They're gonna kill us if they have a link unit anyway. So, like, that could be another reason not to attack, right? We don't burst a pilot into their hand, and now they have the link unit they need to kill us. That could be a reason to save it. And if they want to kill off my Jigen, they're not attacking my shields. I can attack their units and make very favorable trades that way. My Dom and my Shenlong are going to be able to kill things off. The Breach 4 is a little awkward. Yeah, we have more juicy targets for Shenlong if we wait a turn. But they're also unlikely to kill him. They're not going to be able to... I guess they could rush something and play another unit. This could be the mistake that loses us the game. So I guess the thought is, if they burst us into a pilot, we could draw a link unit. And then this Zaku 2 becomes irrelevant anyway. I'm going to play the Shenlong. I think the base changes the math. We have to get this thing out of the way if we want to get to the home stretch. We get him down to one card. So let's do it. I wouldn't fault somebody for going the other route, but this just needs to be done. We don't have any blockers to destroy, not a big deal. Great on tokens, though. Strike Pack tokens or Justice tokens. I sure do love doing that. Okay, wasn't a pilot, so that's good there. And now we just hope they don't have a link unit. So we have a lot of these one-cost things, too. So it's not like they're more likely to be able to pull this off. I guess they're slightly, because they have DOPs, and we don't. If one of these is our base, we're saved 2. No. No. Come on, base. Give me that base. Give me that base. Oh, yeah! So even if they have the link unit, we're safe, but they need... Oh, no. Gelgoog. They have the Char in there, too, and they can... So the base saved our butts. But that's how the aggro mirrors go, right? I've lost plenty of aggro mirrors where my opponent had 2 bases, and I had no bases, where they had more linkable pilots than I did, and I had none. That's sort of the way that it goes. So, if they had bursted us into an Amuro, that would have been really sweet here. So let's think about it, because we are about to win the game. But let's think about it. If we had played this Zaku 2, we likely would not have attacked with the Jigen. So we now would rush in with this. Yeah, nothing seems like it would have changed that much. Yeah, this playing the Wufei and the big Shenlong ended up being the right play. They weren't interested in trading with us. They had this Char Gelgoog in hand, so if we didn't have... So they made the right play on their end. They're just trying to kill us because they know they can rush us with an extra attacker that we can do nothing about. So just to be a little spicy, we're going to Rick Dom into this Zaku 2, because we're going to get that breach off of it. The good news about having this be a 6-5 is even if that were a base, our units can still clear it out. I guess in that instance, I wouldn't have attacked with the Rick Dom, because I would need that. Let's let Shenlong finish the day. Now you might think, Titan 9, that looked very close. You know, is the Shenlong really that good? Did you put yourself in a bad position by doing that? I think we were in a very good position. Imagine if that wasn't a Rick Dom, they didn't have Wufeis on them, or this Rick Dom got to kill 2, maybe 3 units and be totally fine, and they had to waste pingers on it instead of killing one of my other units. Right, so they would essentially have an extra unit, and I wouldn't have this current attacker, and I wouldn't have been able to do the damage I've done to the bases with it. So are you following along here? Like, they got to flood the board, and if they do that, yeah, you're going to fall behind. But there are hands that you draw where you do that, and your opponent has, you know, a couple of Gelgoogs and Show of Resolves in the hand, and, like, you run over them that way, too. So keep that in mind. The Shenlongs allowed us to clear their board, keep their lower units dead, keeping our units and thus having a form of card advantage without the need of Show or Resolve that still affects our game plan, or still impacts our game plan positively, still lets us take out their shields at the same time so that we can have a turn like we had last turn, where even though we can't breach their units, we get them so low on shields, we can win the following turn anyway, provided they don't have a link or we have a base, but that's going to be a lot of aggro matchups. This is why I played 2 out of 3 games, because you get games like this, and then it looks like, oh, it was just luck and not the deck that won it. But 2 out of 3, it's a little harder to argue there. My results, too, show that it's a little harder to argue. And also, that game we lost, a lot of that had to do with me missequencing a play. I made a mistake, and that cost me the game more than the deck's construction did. Ultimately, we don't know how that would have turned out by the end of it, but I believe they had a lot less cards in hand than we did, and we would have been kind of even on shields at that point too. So I definitely would have been a lot more in that game than it looked because I missequenced that. So that's what I have for you here. Give Shenlong Slam a shot. It's a lot of fun. If you have a lot of aggro in your meta and you want to play aggro too, because the decks are very affordable, then go this route. You don't need all 4 Grandpa Gundams, which are the most expensive card. You don't need Gelgoogs, which are crazy expensive now. I'm not totally certain why. In the span of like a week, they'd shot up $10, and I feel like I'm seeing decks run less of them. So it seems odd to me. And just like have fun, play your Rick Doms, do your Wufei things, and go to town. Give it a shot. All right, so that's it for this edition of Meta Meditations. If you want to see more Shenlong Slam, let me know in the comments what other matchups you want to see it against. I'm planning my next video to be something different. But also, if you have ideas for other decks you want to see me play, I'm happy to do that too and break it down. And we'll just kind of keep exploring the meta as the young GD01 meta keeps evolving and growing in front of our eyes. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.